Yo, what the hell is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy right here, man. It is MMA Reloaded. We are live and direct once again for episode 46 of On the Mic. And tonight, folks, it's another preview of another watched fighter going into December 4th at Cage Steel 27, Connan the Barbarian Murray. Now, if you didn't watch Connan Murray in August when he was competing at Cage Steel 26, you need to watch that for sure, G. I mean, you can watch it on Facebook, folks, on the MMA Reloaded page. It's shared on there. It was just a savage performance, like just like a one-on-one slugfest with boxing gloves on, yo. That's all it was, and to see it in the cage just made it even more gratifying for me because boxing is associated with the ring, with the squared circle, but you go in the cage and you have a boxing fight. And if you see how it differs to the square, to the cage layout compared to the ring, it's one of those things that you can't really put your finger on, but you see how the fighters react differently. In the ring, you have all this room to work, but in the cage, you're in a circle, you're in an octagon, a hexagon, a pentagon, and the style will be different, the movement is different, the whole atmosphere is different, and Connan Murray, folks, showed that he is an absolute savage. He'll be joining us here on the show today, episode 46 of MMA Reloaded on the mic. So, folks, without further ado, it's time to do the particulars and invite Connan to the show. What's going on, folks? We are just about ready. We are just about set to get on there with Connan Murray, one of the most anticipated and watched fighters going into Cage Steel 27. So, when we look at regional MMA, folks, and you can classify Cage Steel and Almighty Fighting Championships as, not regional anymore. But, folks, we are just live and we are just about to go direct right now with Connan Murray. So watch and enjoy. Hey Connan, what's going on, bro?
Yes, brother, you good?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Yeah, good, bro. Good, bro.
I appreciate you taking the time out, man. Of course, to come on the show. It's a pleasure, man. Of course, only 2 weeks out from Cage Steel 27. So no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no dramas at all, brother. Start changing
plan,
but we got there in the end, didn't we?
We did, man. Bro, like when you go around messaging around, like it's difficult because you get is just Instagram notifications, right? You gotta go into it's just a real long-winded process. But no, I appreciate it, though, man. You're right. We got there in the end, bro. So at Cage Steel 26 in August, but I was there watching it live, and what I saw was nothing short of just pure savage, bro. I have to say. So now, Conor, I want take me back down the line, man. And how did it all start for you, bro? In combat sports, how did you get into combat sports and get into competing?
Jeez, wow, we have to go way back for that, brother.
Let's go way back, man. Let's
Yeah. So to be honest, I've come out of a family that's always had a tradition of at least having a few amateur bouts. It's as simple as that. Whether you went on from that, or not. But a lot of my family, they did a couple of amateur bouts. They've gone off and done other things and just got there, earned their stripes, as it were. I've always enjoyed it. I mean, the sports that I've always played, I played rugby. I played as a winger. I played goalkeeper. At, sorry, I'm just getting a phone call.
Folks, I'm sorry about that. We just cut out. So we'll wait for Connan Murray to join back again. Until then, folks, hang tight. We'll be back live soon. Hang tight, folks. Connan Murray will be back. Just bear with him.
Yeah, sorry about that, brother.
No. It's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good. Go ahead, man. Continue.
Where was we? So I've always played positions like winger, goalkeeper. I've always boxed all the way through, like playing sports. It's all very. I like this solo aspect. So the winger in rugby is a very solo position. You're on your own a lot. It's usually the last person to take the ball. Do you know what I mean? And the goalkeeper's on his own again. And it's like this I like that sort of competition where it's like it's you that is responsible for that last bit of that work. Do you know what I mean? I like that. I don't like I am a team player. I like the team aspects, but I just like to be responsible for myself and be in control. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I've always took onto it. I've always can go out and hit the bags. I can do my own thing. Do you know what I mean? And just enjoy it myself. And that's really the reason why I've always stuck to it, because it's a self-discipline. It's a self-discipline. You're in control of every aspect of it. So that's what I like about it.
So you like the one-on-one?
Yeah, I like the one-on-one. I like to sit in front of another person and go, let's go. Let's see the best of you versus the best of me and see who comes out on top. I'm about that life, do you know what I mean?
Oh, I fucking love that, man. But you know what? Yeah, in August, but how did you feel? Because of course, we associate when we associate boxing, we associate in the ring, and you versus the other guys, a bigger space and a bigger layout. Did you have any? Were you in the ring before Cage Steel 26, or was that your first taste of competitive boxing, or had you competed before that?
So I've done amateur fights from 14 years old. So I fought amateur 14. I said it in another interview actually. I got two real bad calls early on when I was an amateur. I had my debut fight was it's actually on video on YouTube somewhere, and I was showing it to one of my boys the other day because it still pisses me off to this day. 14 years old, do you know what I mean? And I smoked this kid, but I didn't get the shout. Upset me. I carried on. I fought another kid, and I gave him 2 standing 8 counts in a 3-round fight, and still lost. Do you know what I mean? And just like these little spins. So my amateur career, I took another 2 amateur fights on and went on to win them. So I broke my record even, and then I just nipped it in the bud after that for a while. Started playing rugby, and then I started at uni doing off license again. So I did off license boxing for a while, and just a little bit, earn a little bit of cash. That was all it was, a little bit of cash. But I never lost when the head guards were off. Do you know what I mean? As soon as the head guards were off, and after that little stint at being 14, I didn't lose again. After that, I stopped opponents. I had people tie on the stool, but and then again, it's another 7-year stint since I last fought. So the last time I was in the cage Steel 26, I had not fought in 7 years.
Fuck. So what? That was your first fight in 7 years.
7 years, yeah. So what happened was the lockdown. I think lockdown got a lot of people thinking. Lockdown got a lot of people thinking, and I've always had this fire for combat sport. I've always enjoyed it, loved it. I've never not been involved in it, whether it's just training myself, doing a few rounds with the boys. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. So it never sort of, the fire was always burning, but then over lockdown, I thought, shit, I'm getting on now. And like, if I don't do something and have another go at it, I'm going to look back 40 and I'm probably going to put myself into a state of depression going, what could have been or what should have been. And even if nothing comes from it, at least I've gone, yeah, I went back and did it, and I did it how I wanted to do it and give it a good go. Do you know what I mean?
So yeah, man. Of course, that lockdown, you couldn't really do much. You know, and of course, eco fitness would have been shut down at that point, right? During gyms were shut, so you couldn't really do anything. So how were you spending your time mostly during that year?
Well, training. Just because my gym was closed didn't mean that I couldn't go to my gym.
Yeah.
So it was the same. It was the same for me, and I don't know what I'd have done without having a gym, because I've never, since being able to train from 14 years old, the longest time I've had off training is probably 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? In what's 15, 16 years now. Do you know what I mean? The longest I've had off is 2 weeks. In fact, to tell a lie, longest was I had an operation on my shoulder.
Oh shit.
So I had a pec tear, so I had to get that repaired. So I was off a little bit longer, but you'd still find me in the gym on the treadmill with cast on. Do you know what I mean? It's like I can't not be without it. I need to sort of get my energy released. Do you know what I mean? And get my fix of training. So I've never not been without it. So I don't know what to do. And I feel sorry for some of the people that obviously didn't have the facilities, couldn't get hold of gym equipment. It was a nightmare. I did lend a few bits of my kit out to some of my members and stuff to keep them going, but it was a tough. I can imagine it being a tough time for everyone, but I kept training, kept my focus, and sort of like knew that it was going to come to an end at some point.
It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
No.
Honestly, I'll tell you firsthand as well, man. Shit is not easy. That whole year, up until just like a few months ago, that was not easy at all, man. And yeah,
No.
you know, some people are not as fortunate to have equipment or to train or to keep busy or anything. You know, lose jobs and all that stuff. So, you know, lockdown was I don't know how to describe that, man. That was self-destruction. That's what I was.
Absolutely, brother. So many people was in the same boat. It sucked, but you couldn't even reach out and help people because you had to be fucking isolating and staying away from people. So it was nuts.
And I mean, to be fair, man, it's the last thing anyone wants now. Yeah, is another lockdown, but
100%.
that's not on the card. You know, just as stuff's starting to get back on the air, and you know, gyms are starting to open up, you start to compete again, man. But you know, if I could just touch on that, Conan, competing for the first time in 7 years. But how was that feeling for you mentally and physically, bro? How did you feel going in?
No problem. It's no problem stuff like that. It's no problem stuff like that. You worry. You can spend a lot of time worrying about shit. You can spend a lot of time worrying about shit, and it's just wasted energy. When it comes to sort of my experience of it and my reflections back on any event that I'd ever done, it's a fuck it moment. You know what I mean? You're in the cage. You're in the ring. There's nowhere else to go. It's you and him. Do you know what I mean? So it's a fuck it moment. You go, you have a fight or you don't. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. So you can worry about it. Mike Tyson says it best. There's an interview with Mike Tyson, and he's talking about his walk to the ring and how he thinks this guy could be the guy that beats him. This is the guy that could knock him out. What if he doesn't hurt the guy? What happens if he loses? It all just goes away when you step in there. So I have complete faith in that feeling. So I may have my doubts leading up to it. I may have my doubts walking to the ring or the cage, but they all go away when the door closes and it's just me and him. It just all goes away because you've got to be there. You've got to turn up, but you can't just let someone beat you up, can you? So it just goes.
You're not going to stand there and get your ass kicked now.
Exactly. So
it's not an option.
I try not to worry about it because you have to fight. It's fight or flight. Do you know what I mean? And there's nowhere to run in a cage.
You know,
the doors are locked.
What I was going to ask you too, bro, is that, you know, I know you what you told me about your earlier amateur fights. Of course, they were in the ring, right? You're in the cage at that point. How would you compare the two? How would you say competing in the ring and boxing in the ring would be as a traditional way of doing it to being in a cage and being, you know, a bit of a different layout?
I mean, it's pretty easy for me to say because I don't take steps back. I don't take steps back in the ring. I never have. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, the only time I really got waved in the ring was when I was leaning on the ropes and like relaxing and got caught with a good shot over the top. And that's the only time I've really got caught with a good shot and gone, okay, you know what I mean? And so I don't really take steps back. That was just literally a shot where I was taking a step back, and it's easy to get caught when you sit back on it, but I like to come forward, I like to fight, I want to fight. Do you know what I mean? That's it. There's no step backs. It's just digging in and just fucking fighting.
That's exactly what you did, man. But I saw that and I was like, shit. Yeah, literally, that was the only thing that was going through my mind. Because
there's no step backs for me. You can guarantee that. There's no step backs.
I remember you had him against the cage, and this is when you finished it, and I was like, finish it. But you slugged the right hand with the right hook across it. Oh man, ah, I couldn't. Oh man, it was a jaw. That was jaw dropping shit right there, man. Um, yeah. So like in terms of uh, technically, in terms of space and stuff, even though you don't take steps back. Yeah, there was no
There's no difference. No difference. Yeah, just my styles is no difference when you're fighting a bloody phone box or whatever. It's the same style. You may as well fight in a phone box with me because I'm going to be in your face all day, all day.
that pressure style. You know that
Yeah.
pressure style, yeah, coming from someone the size of you, Conan, is it's going to intimidate anybody. Yeah, because nobody ever expects that. Nobody expects you to come forward like that and eating shots,
Yeah.
take and dishing it out straight here, up close.
Yeah.
So when you go into this one now at K Steel 27, what's going into how is preparation and training camp been going, man? And what does go into your training routine when you prepare for fight?
I do a lot of strength and conditioning just from a background as a personal trainer. So a lot of strength and conditioning goes into my training camps. I try and spar maybe twice a week. Get some good rounds. Get some good rounds in Mansfield up with Lee Chester's and Ryan Chester's up at their gym. I always struggle to pronounce the name. It's So Chang Po, which is Muay Thai gym, and there's some good guys up there. Jesus Christ, some tough guys up there. You've got intercontinental champions, British champions. They are tough guys, and their style is like, you think my style's bad. They're in your face. They are in your grill, taking everything.
Oh, shit.
Honestly, I was there. I think how many rounds I did last night? Over 10 rounds. It's just relentless, brother. It's relentless. And them guys, like, even some of them, maybe 10 kg lighter than me, they just absorb. They absorb shots. They're so good at absorbing and taking the sting out of shots. They're tough kids, man. Tough kids. You can't get work like that in any box. I could go to a boxing gym and do 15 rounds, no problem. And it'll be, I'll feel fine after it. I'll have taken a few shots. They'll have taken a few shots, but it's a chess match boxing. Muay Thai is who is the hardest motherfucker. They are literally relentless kids.
Absolutely crazy. They're nuts.
So on a Friday, I go up to that gym in Mansfield and get some ruthless rounds up there, and they fucking kill me off. And then on the Sundays, we get a bit more technical stuff working. So another one of my boys, Brandon, he's fighting on the card as well. Brandon the Juggernaut Jackson. Shout out to him. He's going to be dangerous. He's going to be one to watch, honestly. Tough kid. He comes up to us both, so we do some sparring with some of the boxers on the Sunday, and we do with the Muay Thai fighters on the Friday. So, but other than that, training-wise, I worked it out the other day. I train 12 times a week. 12 times a week I train. Mix of strength and conditioning, cardio, and sparring. So I train a lot. I can't not. I run my own gym. It'd be silly for me not to train every day at least.
That shit, it runs through your veins, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, man, from what you see in the Muay Thai gym, and you must see a lot more than boxing, man. They must be using their knees, elbows, head, everything.
They're killers. They're killers, man. They're killers.
With that stuff like that, does that motivate you to, one day have an MMA fight or transition to MMA if you were going to?
A lot of people have said that. They wind me up. They wind me up and go, with legs like that, why aren't you doing Muay Thai and stuff? I'm like, nah, it's just more of a target to hit. I've always been brought up boxing, and that's just what I've been brought up doing. I'm 30-year-old. I'm not going to pretend like I could. I'm not even going to say that I could get super far with boxing, but I've got a better chance boxing than starting again MMA. I just don't think I could hack it. I'll be honest. It's not something that I watch MMA. I do watch it, and I do try and watch the boys when they're fighting Muay Thai. But it's too much to learn. It's too much time to get really good at it, to sort of get anywhere that I'd want to sort of be competitive. Because my style of fighting is very aggressive. But if you see me sparring, a lot of the boys don't expect me to be fighting like that, because I box quite well. Because I've always been around it. I've boxed some good guys in the past, and now I'm boxing some good guys, and it's a lot more technical when I'm doing my boxing sparring. But it's more because I'm just enjoying it, and I'm not trying to fucking kill my sparring partners. I'm trying to enjoy it and learn from it. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, eventually, maybe when things aren't going my way aggressively, we might see some of the boxing aspects come out, or maybe I need to change my game plan. But I mean, the game plan for the last fight was to work the body hard, and that was what we were always working on in camp, was just work the body hard, hit him up top early, let him know how powerful you hit, and then when he covers up, smash the body. That was the plan. Mm-hmm. Saw him wince straight away, and that was it. I'd got his ticket. I knew I wasn't going to get anything back, so he was either winded or something was damaged, because I could see it in his face. His face just turned, so I knew nothing. I was going to get nothing aggressive back, so I may as well wing the shots in now and just get him out of there.
Yeah, 100%. And you were hitting with power, and so that was it. You were loading him up. So when he did, and he had a very, when he was covering up, he was like real hands high, so that left all that open.
Which it amazed me really, because you'd have thought he'd have started to drop a bit and open up to the head, which I want. Obviously, everyone wants the highlight finish. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to fight, but he wasn't letting me hit him in the head, was he? He wasn't letting me take him to the head. He was covering up high. I thought, because I got him with that body shot early, and he took a knee, and that was probably the first one. Was probably the worst one. The first shot that I caught him was definitely the worst one. The rest were just like capitalizing on him being in pain. I thought he'd have dropped his arms down so I could throw some shots over the top, but he wasn't letting me have any of it. So yeah, he covered his head. He didn't let me get me my highlight knockout. Fair play to him. Fair play.
You still got a stoppage though, Connan,
right? Yeah. A stoppage with body shots is good. Don't get me wrong, but you always want that highlight. The guy was tough, because I'm surprised he got up, to be honest. But seeing his face, I thought I would fucking wounded when he got up, for fuck's sake. When I had to go for when I got the TKO, the kid just kept getting up. Tough kid. Yeah. Fair play to him.
100%. But I've been a boxing fan for a long time. I watch all different styles. I grew up watching guys like Prince Nazim, doing the do. And but one thing, when I do MMA interviews, when I do boxing interviews, boxing is a little bit difficult to prepare for, because all you're using is your hand. Yeah. And you gotta choose, and you gotta be a sniper. You gotta choose where to go and when to throw, what to throw at. So when you come forward like that, it makes it easier for you, right, bro? Because he's obviously backing up.
Yeah.
So he's on the D. So when you move forward like that, it helps you pick out your spots, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a little bit, as I said, of a game plan. It just looks like violence, but it's controlled violence. You know what I mean? There was the game plan was the game plan, and I think even watching the fight back, even one of the commentators said on that last knockdown, he says now he needs to go to the head to open up to the body, and that's exactly what I did. So it was controlled violence. There was always a plan. It was just venom in the shots. Do you know what I mean? Because the first two shots was a left right, brought the guard up, then bang to the body, and then as soon as that was starting to fly off, it was lights out. But it's easy when you're forward and you get to pick your shots, and you're not so much both trying to suss each other out. What's the fucking point in sussing each other out?
No point. There's
I've
no
got
cost.
I've got 3 2-minute rounds with you. Yeah, I got 3 2-minute rounds. If I'm not expending maximum energy for 3 2 minutes and I'm not fit enough to do that, there's a problem.
I mean, if you look at boxing fights professionally, that's 12 rounds.
Yeah, you've got to prepare yourself for that.
Yeah.
You've got to prepare yourself for that. I'm preparing myself for 3 2-minute rounds. So I've got someone in there for 3 2-minute rounds. If I'm not, I've got to make sure that I'm fit enough for 3 2s just to throw bombs or 3 2s. And if that's what it has to be, it has to be.
100%.
And that's my perspective. You can't give no one a seeing in them short rounds because you can easily get stolen from you otherwise.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
robbed.
So
you get robbed quick. Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I'm throwing and I'm putting venom in them. Do you know what I mean? And that's it.
But from your gym background as well, Connan, of course, strength and like you said before, strength and conditioning comes in big time with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because with the style of loading up and throwing shots, of course, you only got 6 minutes to do work. But when you throw shots at that, and that could go blink, but you could also get, if your fitness ain't controlled, them 2-3 minute rounds.
They're long 3 2-minute rounds when you're tired.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like days.
So how important is that? Of course, when you did say when you train boxing, you train for them 12, 13 rounds, but fighting 6 minutes and fighting 2-3 minute rounds, how important is that? How important is it to control your fitness in that short span of time?
It's massively important. It's massively important. You've got to be effective for that full. You've got to be prepared to be effective for that full duration. I mean, as I said, it's quite easy to nick a round or two. It's quite easy to nick a round two with some clean shots, and a little bit of busy work. Like if you're with them 3 rounds, you've got to be busy. You've got to be busy because if push comes to shove and they do survive, then if you've been busy, you've thrown a lot of shots, you've worked your ass off in them 3 2s, then the outcome is going to be inevitable. So it's imperative that you're good for them 3 2s 100%. As I said, and that's why they've moved them rounds to 2 minutes because they want you to go for it thereafter. They want the finishes. And they want the excitement, and that's what you need to bring.
Hell yeah, man! Would you say? To be honest, would you say adrenaline came into it as well, bro? When you fight, because you never know, man. Going into a boxing fight and being a one-on-one with a guy, the game plan could just be scrumpled up, thrown out the window, and it could just be as it flows. Yeah,
adrenaline's important. Everyone gets it. It's just about controlling that because Jesus Christ, if you let the adrenaline take control of you, then if they're still there for the next rounds, it's going to be a long couple of rounds because you've emptied the tank. The adrenaline just takes control. And you can't let adrenaline take control because you would be in a dark place if you do that because you get the lactic acid build up, your arms are tired, you can't throw punches, you're just looking at each other going, I want to throw, but I can't throw. And you've got to be careful of that. You really do have to be careful of that. Adrenaline is important, but you've got to be control that adrenaline.
No, 100%, man. And, Cage Steel 27. 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now, man. Well, I think we're just about 1 and a bit. But going in, how you feeling going back to Cage Steel and competing back there, man?
I'm excited. I'm excited to get back in. I'm excited to throw bombs again. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Same outcome. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Can't be worried. There's no doubts. There's just, I know I've worked my ass off, trained hard, training 12 times a week, getting the rounds with tough kids. It's the outcome's inevitable for me in my head, and it has to be. If you've got any doubts in your mind about the outcome, then you're doing the wrong sport.
Come on, man. Yep. Facts. On 100% facts. So, Mr. Barbarian, brother, all I have to say on that note is good luck. December the 4th. And no, thank you, man. All respect and all appreciation going into for coming on the show, taking time out. And I will be there again live, man. So I look forward to seeing you in person, bro.
Yeah, we're a nice one. Thank you very much for your time, brother.
No, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for your time, bro.
Nice.
Nice. Have a good night, bro.
You too, brother.